everyone. Welcome back to Poppin' with Alexa and Molly. I'm Molly.
And I'm Alexa.
And we are back. I am back in the recording studio.
Yes.
I'm no longer in a tunnel.
Healthy, wealthy, and wise.
In a weird can or whatever.
Oh, because I was like, were you driving? What do you mean?
No, I sounded like I was in like a tunnel cave.
Do you have Prince Albert in a can?
But, what?
You better let him out.
Oh my gosh. But we're so, anyway, we were so dedicated to you guys that we recorded last week, even though my voice sounded like shit.
Yeah. And you know what? I will also say sentimental at the top of the hour. Yeah. It is our like almost 1 year anniversary. Actually, it is because we released on March 8th, our first episode last year. And if you've been with us since the beginning, like I know some of you fans have, Eric, Emily, Courtney, Megan, Molly's entire family, and all of our other friends of the pods, Hannah. Thank you so much.
We love you.
We love you, and we love all of those that we didn't name too. And as always, please like, subscribe, rate, and review. Share it with your friends. We want to have more friends. It's really just me and Molly.
Yeah, just two bitches.
Yeah.
Saying exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, and also, as always, there will be timestamps posted on our page, so you can
skip over topics
if we're talking about something you don't care about or spoilers.
Yeah, but today we're pretty much 90% going to be talking about the Oscars!
Our Super Bowl.
Wow, I sounded like DJ Mustard when I said that.
Mustard.
The Oscars!
This is our Super Bowl. And you made a comment last night that I thought was actually really cute. You were like, I think the Oscars is my favorite holiday. You were like, I care about this more than Christmas or Thanksgiving or my birthday.
I was so excited. So if you don't know, we do like a little party with friend of the pod, Megan, and my fiance, Chris, and obviously the two of us, where we do like an Oscars poll. We do like Oscars themed food. I was so excited all day. I texted you guys. I was like, I am so excited. I'm not even nominated. Why am I this excited for the Oscars?
It felt like we were, though. Because it's just fun. Like, we bring, like you were just saying, we bring food, and we had cute names. We check our, well, you won't see it on our story anymore, but by the time this comes out. But we had, we like made, like you made a bread dish that was really cute, and you called it a real pain.
Yeah.
Like pain. Like, it was really good.
Like a real pain. Like the French word for bread, which I felt bad because I had to keep explaining, like, to anyone who asked. Not just you guys.
No, I got it.
No, you got it. You took French, though. But Chris was like, stop. He was like, it's too much French stuff. We have Amelia Perez already.
Yes, and we had, so we had Amelia Pizza Rez. We had pizza, and then Chris made a drink called the Mexican 75 as a play on Amelia Perez being a French movie.
Yeah, about Mexico.
About Mexico, and which we'll come back to that. And then we had, I just have to say this because I thought it was funny. I made pigs in a blanket, and I called it Honora's Coney Island dogs.
Yeah. And little tidbit, like, behind the curtain, Molly was very stressed about, like, naming this food. We were, like, workshopping it at Trivia. You were workshopping it with your mom. Shout out Cindy.
And I came up with that, and I thought it was really cute.
It was.
Finally, the meatballs I struggled with because there was not.
And those meatballs were good. Thank
you. And I called them Conclave's Cardinal Meatballini because there's Cardinal Bellini. But I was really stressed this year because it was really difficult to name food after the movies this year. Last year I felt like it was easier.
I don't even remember what I made last year.
All I remember is somebody made Oppenheimer. It was like it was something nachos.
Oh, Megan made that. I think you made like Barbie cupcakes.
No. Oh, I did bring Barbie cupcakes. I brought two things. I also brought boar things. So I brought pigs in a blanket again. I called them boar things.
That's good.
Yeah,
what did I make? I guess it wasn't that memorable.
No, I think it was a drink. Somebody made it like a drink. Well, it was probably Chris.
I think he did an Anatomy of a Fall type of drink. I don't know. We'll have to go back and listen to our episode from last year, as everyone else should as well. Again, like, subscribe, rate, review. Okay, I'll stop.
But we're not here to beg, okay?
I am.
Okay.
I'm not above it.
We're here to really talk about the Oscars mostly today. Might have a few other topics, but again, this is our Super Bowl. We wait all year for this.
Yeah. So it's interesting, like, I really enjoyed the show last night, but it got like a lot of like interesting mixed reviews.
I I thought it was good. I think starting off, I think having Conan as the host was really good because
Love him.
He's so funny. He's really my favorite talk show. Mm-hmm. He's my favorite late night host. I listen to his podcast. Like, I love him. I think he's such a, he's like so wholesome. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, because the thing with Jimmy Kimmel, he's hosted the last few shows, I think, and he's just, sometimes he's weird. Like, his humor is just kind of mean sometimes, and it's weird. And I just knew Conan wasn't going to do that.
I was telling you beforehand, now whenever I see Conan O'Brien, I think of when Ryan Gosling was on his show, and Ryan goes, by the way, Conan, what's up with you and my girlfriend? He's like, what? And he was like, oh, I was going on the Conan O'Brien show, and she goes, oh, I love Conan O'Brien. I love Conan O'Brien. And he was like, what? And she was like, no, like, I love Conan.
Yeah.
I love Conan. And he was like, why do you keep saying a second time, like, more intensely? And it makes me laugh.
He's got a lot of charm, honestly.
He's so
a charming
tall.
Man. Very tall.
Yeah.
Very red.
Yeah. Very red, yeah.
But he was so funny, and I thought he was, like, it was kind of the perfect, like, he didn't really roast people.
Yeah, which I think I'm past that.
I'm past it,
for,
too.
Like,
it's
announcers.
Stupid.
Yeah. We just don't really need that. Like, and I think it was Hannah Berner, she's a comedian, she was talking about, like, how difficult that job is, because it's, like, you're roasting people on, like, the most important night of their lives, almost. Like,
to a crowd of people who do not want to be made fun of.
Yeah, this is the one time that they never want to be made fun of.
Yeah, they take themselves seriously. I mean, he did roast Carlos Sofia Gasson a little bit, but... Deservedly, and it wasn't too bad. It was funny. It made me laugh. And
I couldn't tell if she, like, got the joke. She, like, her face was just like, ah. And then she was, like, whispering to someone.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
Yeah. I did love his opening, like, the way he came onto screen was, if you haven't seen The Substance, like, the whole thing in the beginning is, like, she crawls out of Demi Moore's back, and that's, like, what Conan O'Brien did. He, like, crawled out of her back, and he was like, oh, I forgot my shoe, and had to, like, go back in.
They showed Demi Moore's face, and she didn't look like she thought it was funny.
I, once again, think that she was just very stressed. Like,
I mean, it would be hard to laugh when you're like, I might have to make a speech tonight.
Yeah, and it's also kind of hard to just, like, watch someone crawl out of your back on screen in front of everyone. I'm curious, but also, and Demi Moore seems fine as a person. She just doesn't seem like she laughs a lot.
She actually has always seemed like she's maybe not a nice person to me, and that is me not knowing her whatsoever. It's just a vibe I got. But she could be a lovely person. I truly have no idea. I was telling Alexa, if you don't know, Demi Moore has a little dog named Pilaf or something. Pilaf, sorry. You're good. It's this little ratty dog. And I mean that lovingly. I also used to have a little ratty dog. And
it's rattier than tiny. It's the rattiest dog I've ever seen.
Tiny. She carries it around, very Paris Hilton-esque. She like her Paris Hilton's dog Tinkerbell. She carries it around with her everywhere she goes. I'm surprised it wasn't at the Oscars with her.
I feel like besides the dog from Anatomy of Fall last year, they probably have a no pets rule, you know? They're like,
oh, remember Messi the dog?
Yeah, is he still alive?
I don't know.
I would assume so.
Keep up with Messi.
It's been 1 year.
Oh, I learned apparently the dog.
7 in dog years, so.
Guess what? You're gonna die. This is the most. I don't think I've ever heard of an actor being in 2 of the greatest shows of all time more than this actor. The dog that plays Radar on Severance was also the dog from Succession. He played, what was their dog? Mondale.
Yeah, which is like the guy who lost the presidency in like the...
Canada, right?
No,
I thought it was Canadian.
I think he was running for president.
Oh my God, I'm so stupid.
I know because Chris had a puzzle that we did that was presidential pins.
Yes.
You wouldn't believe how difficult it was. It was like
Why am I stupid?
1,500 pieces or something. It took us a whole month to put together. And I just remember when we put together the Mondale pin, I was like, oh, it's the dog from Succession.
Yeah. I'm stupid. I'm sorry. I was thinking of something else. But yes, you're right. He did. Why did they name him Mondale?
I think it was just like one of those low-key political jokes that they throw into Succession. And then they never bring back that dog. And I'm always like, the thing about me is I'm always wondering like what's going on with the dog.
Well, Mondale I always notice because again, I've watched the show 32 times. He's always in a cage in their house.
Yeah.
And whenever they do show him, it's Tom going, Mondale. He always talks to him like that. It's very funny to me.
Yeah. But anyways.
So I think, we're not here to talk about Mondale.
Yeah. I think like overall it was pretty good. I think Conan he was the best presenter I've seen in a while. I think he did a good job. I loved, there was like this sequence with Adam Sandler, which I think I said to you when it happened. He was like, oh, Adam, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know why they showed Adam Sandler, and it wasn't like coming together in my head that Adam Sandler, like, I'm sure
his name is Adam.
His name's Adam.
Yeah.
Like, he's just Adam Sandler to me.
It was funny. I don't normally think Adam Sandler's funny, but I do know that he and Conan are friends, so he probably was like, this would be funny. And it was cute.
The thing is, it went on, like, it's one of those jokes where it was like, it went on a little too long, and you're like, okay, it's going on too long, and then it kept going on, and it got funny again.
It
Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? And then at the end, yes, when he was like, Chalamet!
Yeah.
That obviously brought me joy because, you know, I love that little boy.
Yeah. And Kylie was
little kid loved. No, just kidding. That's an Office joke. I'm not weird. Just
that I got right on Office trivia.
Yeah, you did. So, I mean, I thought that was really funny. He had a couple of other things that I think, like, were pretty good. I loved the, what's his name? The guy from Clon... Woo!
Oh, John
Conclave.
Lithgow.
Yeah, where he was like, John Lithgow's gonna just look at you disapprovingly, and they just, like, kept going.
Like, if you don't get off the stage when the music is playing. Yeah, that was funny. There was
you could tell how nervous he was, though, when his
hands were shaking.
Which, like, I get. It's
of course. And he's never hosted before, so.
Yeah.
I would say, so Conan, I think, was definitely a highlight. I would say another highlight was Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo opening the show. Those are two talented individuals.
Watching Cynthia Erivo sing is actually, like, just the way she does it. She has a smile on her face. Yes. It's just, like, it's like her voice is elegant paired with, like, the smile she has when she sings. It's
She's
just, like,
so elegant.
I just want her to, like, I don't even know, like, serenade me.
Her voice, I've said this before on the show, but her voice sounds like butter to me. Like, she sounds so elegant.
Which is how Timothée Chalamet looked.
Okay. What? No.
What? He looked like butter.
Oh, with butter. Oh my God. I thought you were saying elegant. I was like, Alexa, please.
No.
You're right. Sorry. I'm sorry. I prematurely attacked you. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I interrupted you to say a bad joke.
That is true. Just kidding. But no, they open the show with Ariana Grande singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and then Cynthia sang a song from The Wiz, and I can't remember what it's called now, but she sang a song from The Wiz, and then they both sang Defying Gravity, and it was just so good. Yeah.
Which it made me laugh. I was like, watch them actually do, like, music from all of the movies except for Emilia Perez.
Because, we talked about this before, but I think, every Oscars they perform the Oscar-nominated songs, but this was the first year they decided not to do it. And I think I don't know if this was the reason, but everybody's theorizing that it's because the people from Emilia Perez cannot sing. Like, they don't sound good. And so they would have had to perform. And also, not even can they not sing. The songs that were nominated, I couldn't see them performing it.
No, and I couldn't see anyone enjoying it.
No, El Mal won Best Song, and I was just like, that didn't sound good.
I feel like it won Best Song because, and I know this isn't how it works, like, the way they vote on the Oscars is, like, ranked choice voting, so it's not like anyone's like, well, they're not going to win this, so we better give them this. But in my mind, it is. And I'm like, they didn't win anything else, I guess they have to win, like, Best Song.
They won Best Supporting Actor.
Well, yes, also that. Actress,
Supporting Actress, sorry.
But, which I kind of knew was a given, and I think it's because Zoe Saldana is the only good thing about that movie. If it had won and I'm gonna be honest, I don't think she really deserved it that much. No. But I also really hate that movie, like, I will go off.
I thought she was the best part of it, but I don't think she necessarily deserved an Oscar for it. I thought she was, like, I remember watching the movie and being like, yeah, her acting is good in this, but I wasn't like, I don't know if it was necessarily Oscar worthy.
I don't think, well, none of it was Oscar worthy, so it's kind of hard to say. But yeah, I noticed, like, there wasn't actually a lot of music in this Oscars, and that's one thing that people were talking about is just the way, like, they've been working really hard, the Oscar gods that be, to make the Oscars more, like, engaging and interesting to younger viewers, and one of the complaints is always that, like, the Oscars are so long, and so they've been trying to cut it down, and I think, like, that was maybe part of why they cut down on, like, the musical numbers, and also why they rushed it. Like, everyone was so rushed to get through their speeches.
And I'll get into that because I have a lot to say about that. But one thing I thought was funny, somebody made a joke. They were like, they need to cut down on Oscars. And then it's like, they added like a 10-minute James Bond tribute randomly. Yeah. So I think they were, and we might have missed them saying this, but I think the reason, because I think most people watching that were just like, what is happening? There's not a James Bond movie coming out. But I think they were honoring the producers, Barbara Broccoli and...
her name's Broccoli?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
and Michael G. Wilson, but it was like a tribute to them. But it just felt really random.
It did, and Chris made the
weird
joke. He was like, "They got to do it now before the franchise gets bad."
Which I didn't know that Amazon is buying James Bond.
Yeah, which is why they made like all those like. But the thing is, like Amazon, I feel like Amazon does have good shows, but also like you don't. It's like every now and then, like you don't hear about them that much.
No, I can think of like just a few that I
actually can't think of the last time I opened Amazon to be like, I'm gonna stream something.
Well, we watch Invincible, so we open it every week, but
okay.
And that's a very good show.
But is that like the one thing you're watching on there?
Mm.
See, and that's crazy because I feel like most streaming services, I'm like, okay,
there's like multiple things.
At least every few months, I'm watching like 2 shows on Netflix or whatever. But they made like a whole bunch of like Amazon jokes, which was funny, and I think it's interesting they did like they made a lot of references to streaming, which I'm curious. I'm thinking about this like in my head. Like right now.
Yeah.
This is straight off the dome.
Okay.
So get ready. But so I'm thinking about they had this whole thing like throughout the Oscars where they were like, you know, movies are meant to be seen in the cinema.
Yeah.
However, I have a couple of points to make about that. The first one though, thinking about Emilia Perez, it's kind of almost like a jab at them because they're the only like I think exclusively streaming movie. That was like nominated for Best Picture.
Well, it couldn't have been exclusively streaming because they do have a rule that it has to play in a certain...
It has to play in a Los Angeles theater.
Yeah.
So, sorry. Streaming except in LA. Which is kind of crazy, but also, it's interesting that, like, I was reading this article from the New Yorker and it brought up a good point where they were really, like honing, like, they were really bringing home this idea of, like, you should go, like, which I agree, movies are made to be, like, it's a shared experience. Yeah. I love going to the movies, like... we're going tomorrow. We go like mostly once a week. But at the same time, most of the movies that were nominated for Best Picture, you couldn't really see in a theater.
No.
Which we have complained about before. Like, Anora was in the theaters for like a week here.
Yeah, and it may not even be in a I mean, most people would probably say it's not even in a theater near them.
Yeah.
I do think it was funny. So one thing that we didn't know because we watched it on ABC, we watched the Oscars on ABC, but it was also for the first time streaming on Hulu this year. And Hulu apparently cut out. Did you hear that?
No.
It cut out like right before because it like everybody like lost the stream because I guess it went over, which Oscars always go over. So I don't know why they wouldn't have prepared for that. But it cut off like right before Best Actress or something. So people missed like Best Actress and Best Picture. Yeah.
I would have
Can you imagine? Because it's just like they weren't prepared, I guess, for it to go over, but it always goes over. Why wouldn't
30 seconds that like our like ABC feed messed up and Chris was like, oh, it might be the internet.
And we like lost our minds.
Yes, and Chris was like, okay, calm down, and then it came back.
And it was like commercial break.
But that's also weird because I could see that happening like on like a cable show where it's like, yeah, we have this like preset, like this happens at 8 p.m. and then this happens at 9 p.m. But it's streaming, so it's like, why does it matter that it went over? Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there is some, I don't know.
But that's why I also said, like, I thought it was only on Hulu, so I was, like, prepared to watch it on there. But I was like, okay, I'm glad we have this, like, access to ABC.
We would have missed it.
Yeah, because it's just like the Jake Paul, like, Mike Tyson, Logan Paul?
Jake Paul.
Mike Tyson fight where it, like, buffered for everyone. Like, I think, like...
I knew it would mess up for the Oscars.
I understand, like, the switch to streaming. I just don't know, like, if we are fully there yet.
They're just not ready for it, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of people. Well, they claim that 1 billion people were watching, but I don't think that's accurate. Remember they said that last night? Yeah. They were like 1 billion people are watching the Oscars, and we were like, no, they're not.
Where are they getting those numbers? I don't know.
There's no way. Like especially this year, because it's so funny. Like, so many people we've heard from, like, just like who I've talked to at like work or just people like commenting on our podcast, like, so many people didn't watch Oscar movies this year because they were just like, there just weren't.
Yeah, I mean, we had to buy 2 of them.
Or sorry, so many people didn't care about the Oscars this year because they didn't see any of the movies. Because I just think, I was saying, like, I don't think it's it was like a super good batch this year.
No, and it was hugely indie film, except for like Wicked and Dune. Which I think is fine. I think, you know, indie films obviously have a lot of merit to them. Like, I love a good indie film, but I think you have to have like a balance. And once again, like, I want to be able to watch these movies. And I think that's why, like, I think they actually had decreased viewership because people aren't going to be invested in the Oscars if they can't see the movies. And they didn't come on, I thought they would come on to streaming services more so, like, right before the Oscars. But they didn't. Like, we rented an Aura for $5, but we had to buy The Brutalist this weekend, which was $20. We also had to buy Nickel Boys, which was $20. Like, once again, if you want to see those, come over and watch them. We own them forever now. Both of which, I mean, Nickel Boys was good, but I mean, the Brutalist I don't plan to ever watch again, but I had to buy it.
Yeah.
So, and then, like, I couldn't even find I'm Still Here, the foreign film.
Yeah.
I couldn't even find that. And also, so, what was it? It was, like, Best Foreign Documentary. I forget the name of it, but it's the one where it was
No Other Land.
No Other Land by Israeli-Palestinian filmmakers about kind of, like, the devastation in their hometowns. You can't stream that in the U.S. anywhere. You can't, it's not available for distribution in the U.S. for probably political reasons that are, like, underlying, which is kind of wild anyways. But I'm just like, okay, I'm sure it's a great movie. I would love to watch it. I wanted to watch No Other Land, and I also wanted to watch Porcelain War, which is about Ukraine. Yeah.
And those were the two that I wasn't sure were gonna win. Like, or I wasn't sure which one was gonna win. But
yeah, which one did you vote for?
So because I was in 3 different Oscars pools, I was able to kind of split it a little just to, yeah.
That must be
but
nice.
I voted No Other Land for the one last night, and then I think I voted Porcelain War for, like, one of them. But I think I voted No Other Land for 2 of them. Anyway.
Okay.
And by the way, we'll get into this later.
No, we can announce it. Go ahead. You're excited.
I was just going to say, so I won we do, like, an Oscars pool, or we do a competition.
Yeah.
With the party, like with our Oscars party, and I did win, which was really exciting because I won a little Oscars trophy.
Yeah.
And I won a really cool, it's a Vanity Fair, it's like a coffee table book. It's like a Vanity Fair, like Oscars night portraits from like over the years, and it's just like a bunch of celebrities, like an Oscar, like
I'm not kidding. I told this story last night. I think it was 2 years ago, I saw that ad in Vanity Fair, which I subscribe to. I love Vanity Fair. I ripped it out of the magazine, and I just had it, I carried it with me in my backpack to snow and stuff just all the time.
Oh my god.
Because I was like, oh, I want to buy this. It was $40 at the time.
Yeah. And then when you got it sorry.
Well, so then I also, this is a fun fact, when I asked people to be my bridesmaids, I gave them each like a book that I thought fit for them. And originally I had literally bought this book for Molly because I was like, oh, this is going to be my bridesmaid book. But then I decided to give Molly Little Women instead, this like really like pretty pink copy. I was like, this is perfect. And so then I returned it, and then I bought it again for this Oscars pool, and you ended up winning it anyways. Did you win all 3 pools you were in?
I did.
I just want people to know. So last year was really embarrassing for me because I voted for Barbie for a lot of things because I voted based on my heart. And this year,
you got 2nd place.
Yeah, and I don't think how many did you get?
I got 19 out of 23.
Okay, I got 15 out of 23.
Yeah, you were biting at my heel the whole time.
Yes, and I'm very proud of that. I did a lot of research. I watched all of them but one movie, and I think we'll see next year. I think I'm going to be coming out the gate.
Wow.
But there were definitely like some surprises.
There were some surprises, but I would say most people got the surprises wrong, so it wasn't like at work. Again, I won the work one as well, and I also won the one with my family. No, I tied with my mom.
Oh,
so I did win technically, but she also
good on you, Cindy.
Yeah, go Cindy. I was actually
we need to take Molly down a peg.
Hey,
just kidding.
I'm not. And I mean, hey, there's always next year. You just gotta. I work at this though,
I did too. I listened to, I think, like 10 podcasts about Oscar predictions, and I was like writing them down. I was doing like, that like meme where it's all the math behind the woman just kind of like confused. That was me like with the Oscars predictions.
No, it was good. So I'm really excited. I can't wait to I read the whole book last night basically while we were still over here.
Oh yeah, and you were holding it up. We made Chris guess who. One of my favorite games to do with Chris is like I pull out a magazine at the airport and I'm like, who do you think these famous people are? And he'll just be like, I don't know, like Demi Moore, and I'll be like, that's Shakira.
The first one I showed him though was LL Cool J, and he was like, I know who LL Cool J is.
Yes.
But yeah, it was yeah. So I don't know. Should we get into like some of our I can talk about some of my top moments and some of my most like yikes moments.
Should we start with fashion? Like go in order of like.
Yeah, events? We can talk about fashion.
Okay. So, if you don't know, the Oscars are known for their fashion.
We don't have to do a transition. We can just talk about. No, I'm not trying to be mean.
I'm gonna jump off a bridge. That was like actually,
it's
just you and me. But that was like the most embarrassing moment of my life.
I'm sorry.
I'll keep this in.
Yeah. I did not mean to make you feel embarrassed. It just was like, we don't have to do like a headline, you know?
Okay.
Okay, I love you. I'm sorry.
Anyways.
Okay.
Well, so we watched the red carpet together.
We did.
Well, most of it. There were some boring people at the beginning that nobody cared about.
Okay, you say that, but like, those people were so excited to be there.
As would anyone.
Imagine
That's
somebody,
fine.
okay, but imagine you're invited to the Oscars and you're like, you know, one of the first people there, and people are like, the boring people were there.
Okay, I'd be fine with that because I'm
like,
I'm
at the Oscars.
Yeah,
bitch.
I'm at the Oscars. I'm like, it's me. It's your girl Alexa. I don't give a fuck. I'm here.
So, yes. And there were some interesting looks. I feel like there was a lot that looked alike. I swear I saw two people wearing the same dress. Halle Berry was wearing the same dress as somebody else. It was like
really?
a mirror ball, that mirror ball one, disco ball.
God.
No, I mean, she looked really good, but I swear I saw somebody wearing.
But I do think I feel like based on like the Emmys, the Grammys, and now the Oscars, the theme I think for the past year has just been old Hollywood, where people are doing like the high ponies, they're doing like the almost like Yves Saint Laurent, like original, like, you know, like color blocking type of things, like very like elegant old Hollywood style, which I'm here for. I love that style. And that's why, honestly, I would say my worst dressed, it was really hard for me to come up with some. I do have some, but I think everyone like really outdid themselves this year.
Yeah. Do you want to say who your favorites were?
So my favorite was, I will be honest, Ariana Grande, both looks. So in the beginning, she did like this pink, someone called it an octopus look, and that made me sad. But this pink dress that kind of like billowed out. But then when they were doing the performance, she was wearing this literally ruby red dress that was obviously like a play to like the ruby red slippers in The Wizard of Oz. And I was just like, she looks amazing. That dress is amazing.
The ruby red is one of my top looks. I actually didn't like her pink one.
Really?
I mean, it was beautiful, but I just was like, also, it's just not for me. Did you see she was using it as a table though? At one point, she like put her phone on it. I just thought it was like, I mean, it was obviously was Wicked inspired, but I just was like, it's just not my favorite. It's just such a crazy, she's such a small person that it's just like when something like huge kind of engulfing, I'm like,
yeah,
you know, I don't know.
She is tiny.
The ruby red though, I was obsessed with. That's definitely her color. Like that looked really good on her.
Yeah. Who's your top?
So my top is actually, I don't know if you're expecting this, and it kind of always is every year, but my top was Lupita Nyong'o.
Oh, yeah.
She was wearing Chanel. She actually was
Chanel gets it right. If I were going to the Oscars, I would wear Chanel.
She was wearing over 22,000 pearls. Every
time I see the Oscars or like any event like this, I think of Ocean's 8.
Yeah.
Where they like steal the necklace at the event, and I'm just like, because I literally, it was a thing where it was like Ariana Grande or someone was singing, and I was looking at her like diamond earrings, and in my head I thought, I wonder if those are real diamonds. And then I thought, what a stupid question. It's Ariana Grande.
Yeah. Oh, it was probably, oh shoot, what's the...
Cartier?
No, I don't know. But, yeah, so Lupita was my favorite. It was just so gorgeous.
Well, they literally said, like, the announcers were like, and here's Lupita Nyong'o, like, and she, no matter what she wears to the Oscars, she somehow is always best dressed. Like, she could show up in a bag.
She wasn't even there for anything. I don't think she presented, and then she's not, oh, The Wild Robot. I think she's in that movie.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense now.
Yeah.
I just thought of that off the top of my head.
Yeah.
She was my top, probably.
Okay. My second one, actually, yeah, my second one was Coleman Domingo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's my third.
And I loved, like, he was, like, standing up for, like, portions of the Oscars for certain things, and it was just, like, he's in the front row, so it was just, like, him.
Yeah. Did you see he
him.
got up during the commercial, I mean, we didn't see this, but during the commercial break, he got up on stage and was telling everybody to dance. And
oh, really?
Was dancing. Yeah. He's so
I
fun.
Love that.
As a human, I love him so
How easy is it to get onto the Oscars stage? That's kind of wild.
I mean, he's Coleman Domingo. I'm sure he was up there for some reason. I don't know. I'm sure they told him to or something. I don't know. But he was wearing red. I actually don't know who this is. He looks good at every award show he's at, every event. He always like is to me like the top dressed person.
Yeah.
So he's definitely up there for me. My second favorite was Elle Fanning.
Oh, yes, yeah. She always looks very ethereal.
She does, and she was wearing Givenchy, and it was literally like, the back, if you look at it, it was like, I was saying, I was like, I would have worn that as a wedding dress. Like, it was so pretty. It was like, she wore this bow which normally I'm not crazy about like the bow look, but it was a black bow. It was like a white gown with a black bow, and then the back of the dress, the back line or whatever, was so gorgeous.
Yeah, it was. Also, do you know who I realized wasn't there last night? Zendaya.
Yeah.
And Dune was nominated for Best Picture.
I know. I actually thought about that today.
And I would have loved to see her outfit.
I wish Challengers had been nominated.
Yeah.
Like, for real. And I know everybody says that, but I'm like, it could have been nominated for score, like anything.
Or, like, editing. People were like, why was this not...
Yeah,
director.
We
were a tennis ball.
I mean, because, like, like, that's, like, a huge...
Yeah. I don't think it should have been nominated for directing. I don't think it deserved, like, that big of a thing. But I think editing, maybe. Or, like, original soundtrack. Or
cinematography. I mean, I'm thinking of the tennis scene. Like, the tennis court scene. The ball scene.
Yeah. But I guess if I think about it compared to all the others in that category, really it's only the ball scene that sticks out to me. Whereas, like
what about under the tennis court? When they're filming it, like, under the court? Or the net. That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, I thought it was such a good movie.
It was good, but I don't know if it was, like, there were a lot of plot holes in it for me that I was like, okay, I don't know if this is Oscars worthy, but also, like, the same thing with The Brutalist, which, fuck that movie. Anyways.
Oh, I wouldn't, you have gone back and forth on that movie in the last,
really don't know how to feel
hours.
About it.
I know.
We'll talk about it.
I was just gonna say, I don't think it should have been, like, Best Picture nominated, but I thought Challengers should have been recognized. But anyway, yeah, Elle Fanning was my second favorite.
Okay.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I have, like, another person, but go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say my third is Doja Cat.
Yeah, she's up there for me.
Like, when she was doing the James Bond thing and she had, like, the diamonds, I laughed because she had this one, it was like a disco ball that was, like, dangling from her hands. I was like, imagine she's, like, a hand talker and it just smacks you in the face.
That's what you meant. I was wondering what you were talking about. Her dress was very old Hollywood. She was wearing, it was inspired like a leopard by something. Print.
It was inspired by a dress that I think was worn at the Oscars in, like, the 1950s or something.
It was really pretty. Also, her performance was, like, people were kind of making fun of it, but I actually thought it sounded like she's saying diamonds are forever, and I thought it sounded good.
Yeah, people were saying she did. I will say she has the crazy eyes. Like,
well, she is just crazy.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of partially why people were ready to be like, what the fuck is this? But I'm like, no, she sounded good as that sounded good. I thought.
Yeah, I thought once I heard it afterwards, honestly, I was listening to the Ariana and Cynthia one. I was like, there were a couple of points where they were a little bit off, but I don't think it was anything crazy.
I don't know, but I mean, we didn't finish what we were saying about the James Bond thing, but I was just going to quickly say, it was weird. Margaret Qualley, though, was like, she was dancing, and it was just, like, started off with her.
Oh, yeah, because she's a professional dancer.
She's a professional dancer, and I was like, she'd be a good Bond girl, actually. She made a face that I was just like, oh, she's a Bond girl.
Oh, for sure. Watching her in The Substance, though, has really inspired me. I want to stretch and learn how to do the splits again. I haven't done it since I was 7 years old, so, like, good luck to me.
Wow.
But that's my goal for this year.
That's a good goal.
Yeah. If you hear that I've gone to the hospital, though, that's probably why.
It reminds me of The Office when Creed wants to learn how to do jumping jacks. He wants to learn how to do... Oh, what is it? He wanted to learn how to do something, like a cartwheel or something like that. Oh, yeah. It reminds me of that.
God, no.
You know who I loved? I don't know if you know who this is. Annabelle Wallis. Let me show that. Okay, first of all, I also decided there's no one I'm more jealous of than this woman because she dates Sebastian Stan. Okay, this is what she was wearing. It was a plunging blue gown.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's like the color I'm thinking, pigeon blue, like for my bridesmaid dresses.
And lately, she's with Sebastian Stan, so she's been at like every award show with him, and every dress she wears, I'm like, oh my gosh. But I realized I think I'm the most jealous of her more than anyone in the world because she dates Sebastian Stan, but then she was also in Peaky Blinders, and she was with Tommy, so she was like with Cillian Murphy. Yeah. I'm like, this girl is winning at life, really.
Wait, who is she in Peaky Blinders?
She's Grace.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh. I was about to say something that would be a spoiler. But anyways, did you have your worst dressed moments?
Yeah, I was just gonna say a quick, like, honorable mention to the guys. So Coleman Domingo. I also loved, you know who my favorite outfit was, actually, for, like, men? Was, Paul Tazewell. He was the costume designer who won for Wicked.
Yeah.
His outfit was, like, so good, and it was probably one of my favorites. I just wanted to shout him out.
Chris did not seem to enjoy that. Every time a man got up, I was like, what if I put you in that for our wedding?
Because you kept saying put you in that.
He was like, well, I thought I got a say in this, which I don't know why he thinks that. Like,
yeah, but it sounds like you're gonna dress him.
Okay, It's not like abnormal from our lives.
I also really liked Selena Gomez's look.
She did. She looked amazing.
She looked like old Hollywood. Her hair was beautiful.
Yeah.
Also, I loved Jeremy Strong's outfit. It was like this green.
Yeah.
He always
does. I don't know what that like tie that you call it is. It's like a bow tie, but it's not like a tied bow. It's like,
no, it's like a floppy bow or something.
No, it's like almost like two strips of fabric that are like flattened onto his chest, and they go into underneath his lapels. I don't know what you.
I don't know, but I really liked it. He's very colorful on the with his outfits.
He looked genuinely sad to lose.
He did. I'm gonna.
But also, it's hard to tell.
It's really hard to tell with him. I can sometimes not tell if he's like truly offended by something or if he's just like, it's just his face.
Yeah.
But I'll get into that. I have stuff to say. So those were kind of my favorites. My worst, I'm just going to be honest, and you're not going to like it. I hated Timothée Chalamet's
He's
look.
my worst too.
It was awful.
It was so bad. That color, like, actually,
that color was awful.
I think this suit would have been fine if it had been in a different color. Like, I think I mentioned this on the podcast before, but his fashion choices have just been really abhorrent to me. Abhorrent? I don't know why I put a P in that word. But anyways.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm just like, why are you dressing like you are about to, like, marry Britney Spears in 2002? You know what I mean?
They've been, like, bold, but, like, not in a good way lately. Before it was, like, he dressed in very, like, effeminate. What would you call that? Like, like, and I really liked it. We've talked about some of his best outfits before, where it was like, you know, he wears like this black sparkly, like, like those are my favorites. I told you I love the one where I think it's like, it's at the like one of the premieres for Dune, I think, where it's like he's wearing the red and it's cut out from his back or whatever. Yeah,
I love that one.
I literally made the comment. I'm like, those pants, like those yellow PacSun jeans I had when I was in middle school, like it just looked so. I didn't like it. I hated it. I actually hated his outfit.
It made me really mad because, you know, I just expect more from him.
Well, especially at the Oscars where you're potentially about to win your first Oscar.
This is like everything he's ever wanted in his life.
And
like,
you're going to wear that?
That's I don't know who like informed him of that, you know?
How did you feel about Kylie Jenner's outfit?
It made... Should I say this? It made me laugh because Emily texted us this morning and she was like, Kylie Jenner was there looking like a whore like always or something. And I was like, the thing is, I didn't
hate it.
I wasn't paying attention to her outfit at all because she looked totally lost the whole time.
It was awkward. Like, so, again, I've said this before. I don't hate the two of them together or anything. I just think, like, she is not on his level as far as, like, you know, he's an actor. And he's just, like, he's so, like, I mean, I really do feel that he's, like, very much above her in terms of just, like, because we always say, like, what do they talk about?
I think it's interesting because I do think Timothée Chalamet is very, like, artistic and, like, intelligent. Yes, and it's not that I think Kylie Jenner is stupid, but I just always think of a prime example of being her Handmaid's Tale birthday party, where it's just, like, she's really just not tuned into things. No. Whereas I feel like Timothée Chalamet kind of is.
I've seen her, like, I can honestly say this because I remember, like, and I'm sure she's matured. Like, I don't hate her or anything. I think, you know, whatever, but I watched her reality show, and she was just the dullest person on the planet. She wasn't funny. She wasn't, like, she just, like, wasn't interesting. And so that's why I'm just, like, I don't think, when I think of her at these, like, front row at the Oscars, I'm just, like, you're, like...
It's kind of crazy to me.
John Lithgow is right there. What do you have in common with John
And
Lithgow?
I think she might know that. Like, I think, like they obviously go to, like, the Met Gala, which is, like, there's, like, a whole spectrum of people from different industries. But this is, like, all, like, people who are working in film, which she doesn't have. And they're the best people in the world working in film right now. And I could see her just, like, maybe, like, a little bit of an intimidation, like, an uncomfortable factor there. It's almost like if I were dating, like, a, like... Not that this is, like, comparative or whatever, but, like, a NASA astronaut or whatever, and I go to a work event, I'd be like, I don't know what to talk to these people about.
One thing I always think about is on her reality show, I remember there being a scene where she was going to the Met Gala, and she was super anxious. She had, like, a lot of social anxiety because she was showing up, like, first before any of her sisters, and, like, nobody was with her, so she was freaking out, and it kind of actually was endearing to me because I was like, oh, this would just be, like, anybody. Like, it's very relatable, but meanwhile, you don't think of, like, celebrities necessarily being in this situation, but she was showing up to the Met Gala early, kind of, and she was like, I don't know who I'm going to talk to, and she was, like, freaking out, kind of. And so I definitely think there is that sense of, like, she probably does, like, have that, because you remember at the Golden Globes when Demi Moore came up and, like, didn't acknowledge her?
I think that happens more than we're seeing. Like, I feel like people in the industry don't respect her, because she's in a different industry, sure, but also, like, it's like Timothée Chalamet... like, granted, he does come from, like, a privileged background, but not, like, a Jenner Kardashian privileged background, where it's, like, I think he legitimately works very hard at what he does.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas Kylie Jenner, it's not that I don't think she works hard, I just think, like, it's just not the same.
I don't. I think Kim Kardashian works hard. I don't think I've ever said that Kylie Jenner works hard.
Kris Jenner does.
Kris Jenner and Kim work really hard. I don't think Kylie does. And I just don't. But I think
Kendall does.
Well, yeah, Kendall has, like, a legit career that and I think it was a little bit handed to her, but I think she still has the career. I don't think, like, Kylie doesn't really have a career.
Right.
She doesn't do any of the makeup stuff.
Yeah, it's like, she does all the promotions and stuff and, like, whatever, but it's not like she's making the makeup, you know?
She's not doing the promotion. She has a team behind
her.
Whatever. I'm not here to, like, I'm not going to be that person that's like, the Kardashians, like, suck. Like, I'm just like, whatever, but...
She seems nice.
She did seem lost, like, and this is why I say I'm just kind of like, she just seems kind of dull a little bit to me because, like, obviously a lot of jokes were made about him because he was, you know, he's Timothée Chalamet.
Yeah.
And, like, every time they showed her, she just, like, wasn't really, it's like she was kind of laughing that way that you laugh when you don't understand the joke.
You can't see my face right now, but she was just like,
yeah,
this the whole time, like, mouth open, like, a little bit,
if
like,
it were me,
what?
I'd be like, like, but she was just kind of like,
be like spitting my water out,
like, she's kind of confused, you know. That's just like, to me, what she looked. Maybe she was nervous, who knows? But
again, she gave me, like, kind of like a Jennifer Coolidge in White Lotus vibe, where she was just like, what?
Yeah.
Wait, he's nominated for what? And it's actually interesting. I thought so. If, in case you don't know, Timothée Chalamet did lose Best Actor to Adrien Brody.
Alexa was pissed.
I really, okay, again, The Brutalist, like, so Chris and I bought it over the weekend, and we watched it. We watched, like, 5 hours of movies this one day, and this was one of them. And I will say, like, Adrien Brody, his acting was good in it, but it just felt like it's Adrien Brody doing Adrien Brody.
Yeah, which I get that.
I think Timothée Chalamet in A Complete Unknown literally became Bob Dylan. Like, I think he, like, transcended himself, whereas Adrien Brody in The Brutalist was just Adrien Brody doing Adrien Brody. Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. That was one category I really didn't have super strong thoughts about because I didn't see The Brutalist, and I saw Complete Unknown, and I do really like Timothée Chalamet. I think he is talented, but I wasn't blown away by his performance. I really was blown away by his singing. I thought he sounded like I thought with that movie that the musical performances were really moving, but I didn't really think the movie overall was necessarily.
I think it's tough because it's hard to be blown away by Bob Dylan's personality. Because he is just like a, like, kind of curmudgeon, like, I don't know, I don't really care.
Meanwhile, he's super active on social media. He's always commenting and posting stuff.
I know I bring up this documentary way too much, but I just need you to watch the scenes from the We Are the World documentary because Bob Dylan is in it, and they show him, again, it's like Bob Dylan and, like, Cyndi Lauper.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other people, and his face the whole time is just like, he's just, like, so confused, and he's just like brooding, like he doesn't know why he's there.
Yeah.
It's just very funny.
I would like to watch that, actually.
I think, like, if you know, not that I personally know Bob Dylan, but, like, if you
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Like, it's just, it's a very, the way he talked, the way he moved. Whereas, again, Adrien Brody was just, like, I'm glad The Brutalist didn't win Best Picture. That would have pissed me off more because it was so Oscar baity, both in, like, the topic and just the way. Like, there were certain parts of the plot that were made to be, it's about the Holocaust, so it's traumatic. But then there were other things about it that they added on that's just like, I'm like, okay, this is, like, trauma baiting. Right. You know, like, it's not really, like, what is this doing for the plot, really?
And I asked you guys, I was like, did it need to be 4 hours? Like,
no.
Like, because I just can't picture, you know, it's one thing for someone to make for something to be 4 hours, but when it's 4 hours long about architecture, I'm like, there's no way that's necessary.
No, and I think there were some really beautiful lines about it. Like, the line that sticks with me is, like, someone asks Adrien Brody's character, like, why did you want to get into architecture? And he's like, well, the best way to describe a square is, like, how you construct it, right? Like, it's for whatever. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. That's it.
That's
like
all you took away from it.
Yeah, but I will say, because it was shot, like, with Vista Vision, so it is a strikingly beautiful, and it did win for best
cinematography.
And I knew it would, even though, like, I remember on this podcast saying that, like, Nosferatu should win. I do think it was accurate that The Brutalist should win. Like, it was a beautifully shot film. The story was whatever. Like, I just didn't know what I was supposed to get from it.
Yeah, I get that. Well, I think,
Excuse me.
I don't know. I'm glad that I ended up, because for a while it seemed like it was supposed to win Best Picture, and then all of a sudden it was kind of a change up of like, oh no, now like Anora is gonna win. Yeah. So I mean, I'm glad
It's interesting because I feel like it was like two waves. Like when Anora came out, people were like, this is gonna win Best Picture, and then The Brutalist came out, and people were like, oh, this will probably win Best Picture, and then all the AI stuff came out, which, if you don't know, they used AI for both Adrien Brody and Felicity Jones's Hungarian accents when they're speaking Hungarian. They also used AI for the inspiration for his architectural drawings, which I think is kind of bullshit, and I do think, like, the Oscars are probably going to have to implement something where they're like, no use of AI. I think I heard that,
yeah, which that's, yeah, because I mean, it is kind of the future, so it's going to be interesting to see how movies handle that, but yeah. It shouldn't have to, but it's crazy. I think and it's not just because I love Timothée Chalamet, as we all know that I do. I think he should have won for that role. Like, hands down, it was amazing. Yeah, he'll have other roles, though. I'm sure of it.
Well, he was nominated twice this year,
it's funny, though, because there's other ones. Like, his performance in Call Me By Your Name, to me, is sort of, like, the thing that I don't think he can top, at least for a while. Like, he's still never impressed me as much as he did in that movie.
Really? I thought it was interesting that he was nominated for Dune, too.
He wasn't.
Oh, wait, I thought he was.
No, the movie was nominated, but
he wasn't. Yeah, that's right. Because I thought he was fine in Dune.
I never think... I'm just like, Dune, he never impresses me, but I think it's the character.
I just think, like, again, he just really became Bob Dylan, and Bob Dylan is a hard person to, like, kind of embody. But, again, like, you know... The Brutalist, would I watch it again? No. Would I recommend it? No. Was it a bad movie? No. It was literally just very mid to me.
I'll still try to watch it. I'm less inclined now that it didn't win Best Picture.
Yeah, once again,
but I will watch it.
If you want to just come over to our house one day, just do it. I'll be working up here. You can watch 3.5 hours of The Brutalist if you'd like. Or Nickel Boys.
Maybe I'll do that. I actually do still want to see Nickel Boys. So.
Which I was surprised it didn't win for more things. I don't think it won anything, did it?
I didn't think it was going to, no.
I think it was a very clever, like, experimental film. But I do think sometimes those get overlooked.
Yes. It was one of those where it was like, it got nominated a lot, but it was like, I think it was just kind of easy. Yeah. Like, it was just, like, overlooked.
Also, Adrien Brody's speech.
Well, I want to get into the speeches. Okay. So,
would you like any more wine?
Yeah, let's do it.
Today we're drinking, courtesy of Trader Joe's, a Tara Starkenberg Riesling. And it says fine herb below it. That was my German accent. That was really offensive.
It's called Blow It?
No. It says below the name, below it. It says fine herb.
I'm sorry. I was like...
We're drinking Blow It.
I, like, didn't hear anything you said. I'm going to be honest with you.
A subsidiary of Suck It.
Until you said Blow It, and I was like, huh?
No, sorry. I said it weirdly. I was doing my accents again. Okay, yes. Speeches.
The theme of last night was I just wanted people to get off the stage.
Yeah, and it's not because we hated them.
No, but there were... Okay, can I also just say, it is infuriating to me that they give... And I understand that the best... pick, like, the main categories obviously are going to get longer speeches. I understand that. It is so disrespectful to me, though, that they get as long as they do when freaking film editing or whoever's best, like... short film gets 30 seconds between, like, 3 people. Because it's, like, usually, like, 3 or 4 people accepting the Oscar. And between the 3 of them, and they all have a lot to say because they've worked hard to get here. But, they all get 30 seconds.
Oh,
That's
I think crazy. I think it's ridiculous. And I think it's what I was talking about earlier. They're trying to shorten the Oscars. So they're like, okay, we're going to shorten the Oscar speeches. And here's the thing. Like, I just... Like, shout out to the little guys. Like, yeah, like, best director is obviously important. Best actor is important. But it's like, you wouldn't be the best actor if you didn't have a screenplay that was good.
Exactly.
You wouldn't be the best actress if you didn't have, like, film editing that was solid.
It's so disrespectful to me. And, like, honestly, and I felt that way about, that's why, I mean, everybody thought Kieran Culkin's speech was funny. And I think it was expected that he was going to get up there and just, like, ramble.
Yeah.
Which he does.
I loved his speech,
It was good. It was funny. But even him, I was like, get off the stage. If you don't you really didn't prepare something when you knew you were going to win, which I think he said he did, but he just kind of got nervous and, like, got thrown off. Yeah. But he rambled on about Jeremy Strong for, like, 2 minutes. And
then he was like, oh, I've used up all my time, crap. And then, but I think, well, first of all, I would watch Kieran Culkin do anything.
I do love him, obviously, but I was just like, get off the stage.
Yeah. But, and that's the thing is, like, I just don't think it made it uncomfortable how quickly they were cutting people off. It's just like not necessary.
The worst one that we saw, I think, where we literally, I was like, that might be the worst thing I've ever witnessed, was there were, I don't remember who it was. I don't remember what the movie was, but some movie won. And they got up there it was like 3 of them. And one of them, because that's the other thing is like these people have no self-awareness that they see the countdown and they're like, let me thank everyone I've ever met and not give the other 2 people who have won time at all. So they go on. And then the next person quickly has to say something. Then the 3rd guy walked up to the microphone and it cut off as soon as he was about to speak. And we all like screamed because it was the worst thing.
It reminded me of when we were at our previous job and they announced on our team meeting that I was leaving, and I literally unmuted to be like, yeah, bye everyone. And like the department head like literally cut me off and was like, so anyways, like on to whatever. And I was just like, I remember like sitting there at my desk and all of you guys just looking at me like.
I forgot about that.
Like, oh my God. Like,
do you think about that often?
No, it literally just popped into my head.
Because that's like one of those things I feel like that, I remember that and like I'd forgotten about it until now.
It was just like so, and it's not even that I was like, let me speak. I was just like, oh, that was.
You were just going to say, like,
it would have been different if I hadn't have started, like literally I said, ah, and then he cut me off. You know what I mean? Like,
that's what happened with this guy. It was the worst thing I ever saw. So yeah, again, I love Kieran Culkin. It was a cute speech, but it was like I was dying inside when he was like, I just have to quickly tell this one funny story, and I'm like, no, you have 20 seconds.
Yeah, also he reminded me, I hate when people tell stories with like superfluous details, which is like pot, kettle, I know. But when he was like, yeah, so like I was telling my wife and like he was like, Jessica, and you were there, so you were a witness to this and I was like,
I know.
We don't care, we don't know that woman.
He is
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like you're nervous. You were pretty much out of the 4 people the most sure to win the Oscar, so maybe you should have just been but I think he got up there, and this is why we were saying earlier about Jeremy Strong. It's like, sometimes it's hard to tell, like, how he feels about something, because he truly, like, kind of looked upset.
Yeah.
So I wonder if he just looked at him and, like...
Again, I think him and Timothy Chalamet are, like, very similar, where it's, well, all of these actors. Like, this is the pinnacle of your career.
But Kieran Culkin and Jeremy Strong are interesting because they've always been so opposite. Like, Kieran Culkin's one of those people who things just come naturally to him and he doesn't try at all. Like Jesse Eisenberg was always saying that with
Eisenhower.
I said Eisenberg.
No, I was about to say Eisenhower.
But he was saying that about Kieran Culkin, like he just kind of doesn't put any effort into something, yet it all works out for him. Yeah. Whereas Jeremy Strong tries really hard and like works and he's a method actor, he becomes whatever, and he's just very serious. And honestly, I was telling everybody this last night, like obviously Kieran Culkin, like I think he was deserving of it. I thought he was amazing. But like Jeremy Strong, it does make me a little sad that he has gone home with nothing for his role as Roy Cohn, because like Roy Cohn, like he was so good in The Apprentice.
Yeah, he
so
was.
good.
Also, like, hot take, I don't think we need people to be gracious losers. Like, when they pan to people and they're like, oh, they look clearly upset, it's like, yeah, they probably are. Like, again, this is like the biggest night. You've worked your entire career for this. If you want to look disappointed or upset, I think it's valid. Like, don't go up and like slap someone, you know, but like, you know, if it were me, I'd just be like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I felt when I lost the poll.
Samuel L. Jackson, when he lost, whenever he loses something, you can see him, like, visibly be like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, he always is just like, yeah, I should have won that.
Yeah.
But Adrien Brody had apparently the longest Oscar speech maybe ever.
Yeah, they started playing the music on him, and he made them stop.
He yelled at the orchestra to cut the music off because he's quote unquote won before. He's done this before or something. Which we were
what
just
does that
like,
mean?
What?
It was
very, and he said, by the way, nothing of importance, nothing memorable. I at one point was like, what is he talking about?
Timothy Chalamet wouldn't have done that.
No, I don't think so, and I think that's also what kind of made everyone more upset that Timothy didn't win, was because it's like he would have gone up and been it probably would have been a pretty good speech. And it's like Adrien Brody just gets up and he does this all the time. I'm actually a very big Adrien Brody fan. I love him as an actor.
I do too.
But he is a complete weirdo.
Oh, I could see that, yeah.
He also, so I have some lore to drop.
Okay.
This was crazy. I did not know this. So his girlfriend is somebody named Georgina Chapman, I believe. It's something like that. His girlfriend is Harvey Weinstein's ex-partner.
Oh.
And she looks really young too. She's really pretty.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's
that
weird.
tracks for him.
And she and Harvey Weinstein have 2 kids together, which means like Adrien Brody is like the stepdad of Harvey Weinstein's kids. Isn't that wild?
The thing is, after that speech, I'll be honest, I don't like Adrien Brody as a person anymore.
Well, I haven't for a while because he has been, well, I love him as an actor, but he is like a weirdo because the whole Halle Berry thing.
I don't know. I don't know that much about him, actually.
So there was like a whole thing that happened. I think it was like at an Oscars. He went up and just like kissed Halle Berry. I think it was when he won for The Pianist, actually. He was like accepting his award or something, and she was presenting it to him, and he kissed her on the mouth. And everybody was kind of like, that's not good.
Yeah.
And they actually recreated it last night, which I thought was kind of weird.
Oh, they did? When?
Yeah, on the red carpet in front of his girlfriend. Very strange. And so and then all the SNL thing was weird. He like, when he was hosting SNL, he's banned from SNL because he... I'm surprised you've never heard of it. This is probably one of the most like memorable SNL things ever. He was hosting and he was presenting like the musical guest, you know, and he was wearing dreads and was speaking in a Jamaican accent.
Oh no, I did know this. Yeah, he was like the worst host of all time.
I don't know if he's the worst host of all time, but that one was, he did get banned.
That had to be all him, right?
Of course, he's a weirdo. But I felt like between like them and then also again there were just like other people who won, we were just like, why? So the El Mal or whatever, the song from Amelia Perez won for Best Original Song, and the people that went up and accepted it, the woman randomly started singing.
Oh,
she was
yes.
like, Amelia.
Okay, I'll be honest, she did have a beautiful voice, but it was just like...
she didn't. It sounded awful.
I thought she sounded
so weird.
really good. It was just weird, the context. Like, it was weird that she did
And she kept going, too.
Yeah.
It reminded me of, like, when we started the podcast one day and I just randomly started singing, and then I literally was... And that's our podcast, where I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
But I even then was like, that was weird. Why did I do that? It would have been
if she had just done, like, Amelia... That was bad. But, like, you know, just, like, the one thing.
Right, but she kept going.
I think I would have, like, been like, okay, whatever. But she just kept, like, to the point where the people standing behind her were kind of like,
And also, like, and you could tell the guy was, like, trying to walk away. But they were about to walk away from the microphone, and she randomly did it. It was so strange.
It's just that movie is so stupid and weird. God, I just really hate it. Sorry.
And can I say one more thing that I don't think is being talked about? I haven't seen really that many people mention it. I looked it up on X just to see if people were talking about it, and they were, but like it's not really mentioned that much. But so Best Animated Short Film, which was the first thing I got wrong, and as you remember, I was about to go downhill because I was like, oh, I've already gotten like 3 things in a row wrong.
Yeah,
I was nervous, but it was fine. Ended up being fine. But In the Shadow of the Cypress won for Best Animated Short Film. And it was interesting because it was 2 Iranian directors, and they were really excited because they just got their visas the day before the Oscars. So they were like, they were super excited, and they were just like, they literally, I saw a post from them where they were like the only Oscars winners who had to go straight from the airport to the Oscars. They like made it just in time, and they won. And that's really exciting. But it was super weird because they were awkwardly like passing a phone back and forth to each other.
Because they were like, we don't speak English well, so they're like looking at like the translation. But then the woman was doing it. Yeah. She was saying like the things. And then the guy was like, no, like he basically was like...
snatched the phone from her.
Yeah, he was like, you're not doing it well. I was like, she was doing fine. And then just said the same thing.
Yeah, he repeated it. That's what everybody was saying. Because I was like, did we hear that wrong? And it was like...
He came across as a total asshole.
It was like very misogynistic, and like he was like up there like kind of... Like it was weird. It was
then the
really
woman,
weird.
She didn't get to speak the rest of the time. I was like, she was doing fine.
He snatched the phone from her, and some people were like, maybe it was because she was saying his part or something, but he just went on and like repeated what she said. It was very
they kept
strange.
being like, no, that's my part. No, this is my part. And then I was like, it's whatever. Just keep it rolling.
And this is why I say, like, I don't often watch award shows. Like, I don't watch them by myself because sometimes they're just so cringe. You know when something's like awkward and you have to watch it with other people? Yeah. That's why I like watching, like, you
hate cringe.
I hate cringe. I had my ears plugged during Kieran Culkin's speech.
I was just about to, you had your ears plugged. You were like on the couch, like fully stretched out, like, no, I don't want to hear it.
Because I was nervous he was going to get
Chris
cut
shushed
off.
You. He was like, well, I want to hear it.
Why? He was about to get cut off.
I kind of love those things, though.
Really, I can't handle them because, but it ended up being fine. His speech was like cute, I guess. But again, like I'm just like, get off the stage.
It's cute, but sometimes I get uncomfortable that he's basically like telling his wife we're gonna have more kids.
When it's like, I think so too.
It's clear she doesn't seem like super into it if she's like, yeah, we can have kids if you win an Oscar.
I think she thinks he's funny, so that's good. But he has done that multiple times now. I think he did it when he won his Emmy too, where he was like, you said we would get it. Yeah, because I think that was the joke. I also think that there's something kind of weird about it because, again, okay, this is now getting on my soapbox about how men don't have to, go through pregnancy like women do, but I find it very strange when men are the ones that want the kid and the women don't necessarily, because I'm like, yeah, you don't have to go through it. Okay, I'm not here to talk about this.
No, I think about that all the time.
It's a little weird, and I love Kieran Culkin so much, but I do always think that joke is weird.
Yeah, and it's like, sometimes it's like, okay, yeah, sure, we have the money to like care for the child once it's born, but like, I don't know, I have to change my entire life. My whole body is changing every time we have a child.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So that was all I had to say about the speeches. I just was like, get off the stage, everyone.
Yeah. I thought the award winners from Flow had a nice speech. They were the first Latvian like film anything from Latvia to win. And they did, you showed me this, they edited it so like the little cat was holding an Oscar.
Yeah.
I do want you to watch that like one day, maybe like when you're just feeling really like sad or down and you're like, I just want to put something on to like watch something.
I saw the preview for it when I was getting on Max to watch White Lotus. And it was like the little like, it showed like Flow, and I was like, I feel like I would cry the whole time. I just kind of don't want to watch it.
It's very heartwarming. It is very beautiful.
It was just like almost like, when you immediately something is like striking and you're just like, oh, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
I would say, so.
Oh wait, I also was gonna say I love the Latvian guy thanked his dog and his cat.
Yeah, I thought that was cute because they probably did inspire him.
Yeah.
So the other like weird moment of the night I thought was the In Memoriam.
It was that music, I understand, it was Requiem, I think, that was playing.
And I just was like, yes, and the thing is, it's a very intense song. Everybody was like, it almost felt like all these people that died were like in hell or something.
Yeah, it's something that would play during like an opera. I think it was written like probably for an opera. I don't remember.
It's like supposed to be like an intense song. It's not supposed to be a funeral song.
It was like way too dramatic. It was just kind of like the Grammys, I think, did it well, where I know I hated on Chris Martin for it because he gave me like the cringe during it, but it was nice having like an artist like playing, and granted they had like a choir singing, but what was weird is you couldn't see the choir at first. They like
I didn't even know they were there.
Like the lights came up and then you saw them, and I was like,
but it was creepy.
This is it feels like hell. It feels like when I die and I'm going
this is what I'm gonna see.
This is what happens before the devil comes out and is like, you kind of fucked up.
It just felt disrespectful almost, because it felt very it just was creepy.
Yeah.
But they were also usually they have somebody come out and sing a song, and that's where it's kind of like, oh, it's emotional and beautiful, so this was weird. But one thing I thought was interesting was they had Morgan Freeman come out and like basically give like a little speech about Gene Hackman, right?
Yeah.
Gene Hackman, who just died. I was telling everybody last night too, like the person that edited the Oscars In Memoriam must have been stressed out of their mind, because like it must have been the most stressful weekend, because he died like Friday, I think.
I will say, I think if you're in that job, it kind of reminds me of Chris works in video production, and when Betty White died, he was like, oh, I've been prepared for this for like the past 7 years.
Well, also,
so I think if you're like an older person, then they probably got you lined up.
Well, most like magazines and newspapers have obituaries written about people for a while, so that's why they're able to do that. But so they had that, but then they didn't even really have anything for like David Lynch, which I thought was strange.
Yeah, I thought it would have been more. Yeah. Some people were like, why isn't Michelle Trachtenberg on here? But she's not like a movies person.
People were mad about it. Also, there were a couple people missing. Tony Todd, which I actually didn't know this, but Tony Todd died this year, and he played Candyman. Like, he's known for like the Candyman movies. And so it's like, it doesn't necessarily they had a publicist up there. Yeah. Like, it's not necessarily... And I think it's safe to say, like, Michelle Trachtenberg is a little bit more notable than that publicist. You know what I mean? So I don't think it necessarily matters what movie she's from.
But I don't think she's really in a lot of movies. She's more like TV shows.
No, she's known for, like, Ice Princess and, like, Harriet the Spy. That's, like, what she's most known for. And TV. But, like, I mean...
Yeah, I don't know.
They definitely had, like... Maggie Smith was up there. I mean, she's known for movies as well. But, like... I did think it was a little odd that
I'm curious the requirements.
Well, yeah, because again, like, you have like a publicist up there.
Yeah. That moment when I thought that it was Judi Dench that had died was really shocking.
Yeah, they showed
it was her costume person.
It was like a costume person, but they showed Judi Dench as like the queen. Yeah. What was the movie?
And I literally went,
yeah. And we all died laughing because we knew like you were just,
I was like, I don't remember Judi Dench. I was like, I don't remember hearing.
Can you imagine you not knowing that Judi Dench?
I was like,
this is how you found out.
That would be crazy news. Like that would be insane.
So that was kind of my top like yikes moments other than the speeches.
Well, actually, so I was going to ask you, what were your favorite and least favorite presenters?
You know what? I have to say this. So I love Andrew Garfield so much. And I think he's always really sweet to like older people. Like I've noticed he's always really respectful of older actors and he's just a very like loving person. And I've always loved that about him. But he got up on stage with Goldie Hawn, who I don't know if there's something wrong with her now or somebody at work was saying she was like high out of her mind or something, but she just was like acting very strange and he was almost talking to her
like an old woman.
Like an old woman, but somebody said, why is he talking to her like she's being put down? Because like he was just like, he decided to turn to her and just give her this long speech about how like, because his mom died and he's been very vocal about that, but she like loved her, I guess. So he decided to tell her that and it made her emotional. But it just was a strange
and I have to give it to Andrew Garfield. I think he like went with it in stride because I think part of it was she said she came up, it was awkward. She was like, I can't read the teleprompter.
Yeah, which I was like, so she didn't know that before she went out there that
because they do practice, but I don't know.
They do practice, yeah, they do.
Maybe it's different in the moment. Like I don't know, maybe her eyes. I don't know. But so then Andrew Garfield kind of like took it in stride, and then when they like showed the previews for whatever they were presenting, they came back and she was like, "Oh, I can see the teleprompter now." Like I guess
because they moved over to another stage to now read. Like they presented two different things, and so I think that teleprompter she could read better or something. But it just felt weird. I was like, just the way. I think I don't like when they go off script and they just start talking and I'm just like, okay, let's get this back on track. That's why the Oscars take 8 hours because of that kind of thing.
Yeah. I will say I do wish there were like more performances during the Oscars. Like I know they cut down on it, but I'm like, okay, like the accepting of the awards is obviously why we're here, but I'm like, it would be nice to have a little bit more. Like I feel like last year, or at least was it the Emmys where they did like the tributes to the shows or something like we just had James Bond.
We had James Bond, which was irrelevant, and then I did like how they honored Quincy Jones.
Yeah.
And they had Queen Latifah performing Ease on Down. Like I thought that was really good.
Yeah, I missed most of it. I was taking a po to the bathroom.
Yeah, you did. That one was really good. Yeah. And it made me happy because I love Queen Latifah.
I did like Ben Stiller. He was funny.
He was funny, yeah.
Where he was like, it was like he was stuck under the floor.
Did you see him? Yeah, that was a good one.
That was definitely planned, right?
Yeah, the joke was like, because he was making a joke about production. Design. I think he was presenting production or something.
Because I saw people posting like, "Oh my god, look at this like fail during the Oscars or whatever," and I was like,
"What? Are people stupid?" Well, did you see him tweeting? Because he's always like posting on X, tweeting whatever. He was like, Knicks won, and everyone was like, "Aren't you at the Oscars right now?"
That's funny.
Like typical man just being like, "Knicks won."
That would be
like,
Chris
you're
at the
on
Oscars.
Stage.
Yeah. When Chris and I first started dating, I was like, "Oh, I'll follow his Twitter, like so that way I know all the things." It was just like literally live tweeting every sports game ever.
Yeah.
I almost unfollowed him.
Yeah.
I should do that now. Actually, no.
Wow. Yeah, maybe.
But
I was gonna say too. Who was your least favorite?
I would say them, or like it was kind of weird. So they had the like the LA fire and rescue people come out, and it was like Selena Gomez and Samuel L. Jackson were behind them. I think it was
that was a different one.
Oh, what was that?
They were behind them during No Other Land because they presented Best Documentary because I was looking at him and he kept like making faces.
Like he was definitely like cracking jokes to Selena Gomez. Like he was laughing and her face was just kind of like,
we are presenting an Oscar right now.
And they're literally talking about Israel, Palestine, and the destruction of their homes.
Yeah, I did notice that. I think it was during that one because it was just like inappropriate. I was like, what is he doing? He's just being Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
But the fire one I thought was good because they made funny jokes. They were up there.
Yeah, I like the fire one.
They really went out of their way to honor and to make, and that here's the thing, I gotta say something about that. Like, so the LA fire, they really like went out of their way to like talk about that and, you know, just make sure that everybody knew like, okay, we're here tonight, but like this happened and we should acknowledge it, you know, because it was devastating and people lost their homes, blah, blah. And I just think like, I think there's still something, though, about, like, all those people sitting there in their, like, Chanel and Givenchy gowns, and it's just like, okay.
There's something, like, a little... The thing is, you know what I would have loved more is if they had invited people from lower income communities that had been impacted by the fires.
Yeah.
And granted, like, what are they going to do with the Oscars? But it's like, maybe just, like, that would have been more, like, endearing
or
to
they
me.
don't, what, to me, instead of, like, these, you know how much those gift bags cost?
Yeah.
Instead of maybe doing those, maybe just donate the money to the LA, like,
because it does. Yes, I am sad that people lost their homes. I'm more sad about the people who can't afford other homes or maybe didn't have great, like, fire insurance. I'm not really that sad about the people who make millions and millions every year.
No.
I am sad about the people where it's like, oh, this is, like, your community. You are from here. You are raised here. You'll never get your home back again. And I don't think they were, like, in the same thing at the Grammys, like, I think the Grammys did a little bit more of that, where you got to, like, they did, like, some footage from those communities or whatever, and I know it's an award show and that's not what it's about, but it's just, like, if you're gonna do that, then do it.
But inviting them to the Oscars, I'm kind of like, well, they just lost their homes. I don't really think they care about the Oscars, and that's kind of how I felt about why can't I think of what I'm trying to say? The firefighters, like, they were honoring them, and I'm just like, do they really care about standing on stage at the and that's, like, what's sort of weird about it, I guess, is they're just like, yes, you're at the Oscars, like, you know, it's kind of like, okay,
yeah, like, we are allowing you to be here.
Yeah, it's like most people don't really care.
It's like it felt like them just being like, yeah, sure, your job is more important than ours. Yeah, sure. And it's like, well, but we're still not going to pay you anymore.
Reminds me of when Ellen was hosting and she ordered pizza, and which was kind of a funny joke, but she, like, ordered pizza and the pizza guy, like, came out on stage and was like, like, she had the pizza guy, like, actually come out on stage. It was just, like, weird. But anyway, there was something I was gonna say. I was just gonna really quickly say one thing I loved about the presenting was I think it was best cinematography and best costume design. They had, like, actors from all the movies come out and, like, honor the, you know, the cinematographers and the costume designer. Like, so but it made me laugh. So I thought that was really nice. Like, they had, like, each actor for, like you know, Nosferatu, whatever. But it made me laugh when, for costume design, because
I know what you're gonna say.
Lily Rose Depp.
Oh, no.
Yeah, this made me laugh because so I don't know if you know this, but she used to date Timothée Chalamet.
No.
Yeah, and
Can you imagine if they had children? That bone structure. Holy okay.
Yeah, those Tim Burton looking kids.
Yeah.
So she was standing there, and, like, they had you know, they presented, like, what the outfits, what the costumes were. So, like, when they got to the Complete Unknown, like, you know, I think Elle Fanning was up there doing Complete Unknown. And Timothée Chalamet was, like, standing directly behind Lily Rose Depp. And, like, it's not a big deal, but everyone was pointing that out because it's like, imagine how awkward that is. Like, your ex is just, like, behind you on a stage and everyone's watching.
When you said the Tim Burton thing, I would just imagine him, like, watching their relationship and hearing they break up and he's just like, no! My future stars! That's interesting. Also, like, Lily Rose Depp just seems like she was very uncomfortable standing up there. Like, she just didn't really seem like she, again, knew what was going on or just, like, whatever. I thought Bowen Yang, funny as always, he was good. He really held that category.
That was funny. What were you going to say about what you thought I was going to say?
I thought you were going to say the thing about Bowen Yang.
That was funny.
Yeah. But, so, I would like to talk about Best Actress.
Yeah. Big surprise.
It's a big surprise that I will say, like, it obviously brought my numbers down in the poll, but I was fine with that because I had put...
Well, me too. I got that wrong too.
Yeah, I had put Demi Moore. I think you did too, because that's what everyone was saying. She was the favored to win, but Mikey Madison from Anora won, and I think she actually deserved to win more than Demi Moore.
Absolutely... I know we said this, I think, last week when we watched both Anora and The Substance. I'm sorry. I do not understand after watching The Substance why Demi Moore was, like, predicted to win.
Like, the thing is, it's not that she did a bad performance. It just was, like, I feel like she... like, didn't really do much in that movie.
She didn't. That's what I was trying to say. I was almost, like, more impressed by, like, Margaret Qualley's acting than hers. Like, the thing is, Demi Moore was, like, good at, like, maybe screaming and making, you know, pained faces or whatever. But honestly, that's why I'm glad makeup and hairstyling won for The Substance.
Because they definitely deserve that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was looking at it today, and it really disgusted me as a movie. But, I mean, just, like, it was incredible design, like, incredible work that they did. But that's why I say, like, so did she really deserve to win an Oscar for it? She didn't do much.
I think it was one of those things where it's like, oh, she probably deserved to win for other things maybe, and they didn't, like, a Leonardo DiCaprio type of situation.
Yeah, but then I was thinking about Demi Moore, because I said that at first too, but then I thought about it and I'm like, what has she been in that would be like Oscar worthy?
G.I. Jane?
That's the only thing I can think of.
Oh.
I was thinking of I really liked her in St. Elmo's Fire, but that's not like Oscar worthy.
Ghost.
Oh yeah, Ghost.
Which is that her character's name is Molly?
That's what I'm named after.
Oh,
yeah,
the substance.
I saw somebody say like they were like, wow, Demi Moore losing out to a younger, brighter star. They should really make a movie about that.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's not even that she's younger and brighter. It's just like she did more. Like,
no, she did absolutely
emotionally, like physically. You know, I think
people were. I think it was an upset to it for a lot of people though. Like,
and she's only 25.
She is. Yeah. It's like Jennifer Lawrence was 23, I think, when she won her Oscar.
Really? Okay, think about where you were at 23 years old. And imagine, crazy. Like, that is crazy.
Sometimes I think about, because I remember, like, because obviously I was, like, in high school when Jennifer Lawrence was that age, and sometimes I think about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, she was really young, but she didn't seem young at the time.
No, I feel like she has looked the same since she was 15.
Yes.
Like, she has always looked maybe 29, 30 years old.
Also, it's so crazy how I feel like she really just disappeared from the face of the earth.
She was in that movie last year that actually was really good.
It was cute. It was really good.
No Hard Feelings.
No Hard Feelings. And I did like her in that a lot. But then other than that, she just like really, it's like she came out of retirement at like 33 to do that movie.
Yeah.
But that's how crazy that is like, think about it. It's like almost like she's gone into retirement or something when it's like she's literally, I think, like maybe 35.
But I was thinking about that the other day. It's kind of crazy. Like, you think about like Timothée Chalamet or like, you know, people where it's like Leonardo DiCaprio or like Elle Fanning, where it's like, okay, I was just introduced into being an actor. And it's like, yeah, I love acting, but it's also all they've known. Like, most people have career changes. Yeah. Where it's like, yeah, I was a real estate agent and now, like, I am a copywriter or something like that. That, to be clear, that's not, I was never a real estate agent. But do you know what I mean? But, like, in film or, like, when you're famous, or, I mean, I guess
if you were to do that, it'd be, like, weird.
Yeah, it's, like, crazy. Yeah. It's like, what do you mean you're going to leave film? And it's like, well, I don't know. Maybe I want to produce my own sock company.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob Kardashian.
What?
That's what he, or no, was it Rob or,
probably.
Or Scott Disick. I can't, no, I think it was Rob.
I think it is Rob.
But it is Rob. He did a sock company.
Interesting. Well,
where is he? Is he alive?
I don't know. There's something very weird about him. But yeah, I just thought I was really happy that Mikey Madison won because I really thought she deserved it after seeing that movie.
I love that movie, and it is so hard to explain to people like why. And I'm like, it's just purely entertaining, but also like emotionally, like it's layered. I think it's very emotionally depth, but it's like I just was like, this is a great movie.
Well, and we were talking about it at work today, and somebody mentioned, like, the reason they haven't seen a lot of the Oscars movies because they were just, like, it's just too much, like, between the substance, and it's just, like, all these, like, kind of weird movies. And I was like, that's what I loved about Anora was, like, it wasn't, like, it was very straightforward plot. Yeah. And it was just good. It was funny, but also very, like, emotional and moving, and it was really good.
Can I say a really controversial take? I don't think Wicked should have been nominated for Best Picture. I think it was very good, but I think it got nominated because it's like, it's Wicked.
Yeah, I here's the thing. I said this about when I was like, I don't really think Zoe Saldana should have won Best Supporting Actor. I think she was good, but I don't think necessarily she needed to win. But I actually would have been okay with Ariana Grande winning. I thought that her performance in that, to me, especially because it just like was Ariana Grande, and you're like, oh wow, she's very talented as an actor. No, I thought the movie though was good. I wasn't surprised it was nominated.
The other categories it was nominated for, I was like, this makes sense. I was like, Best Picture? I don't know. But then again, I do want to watch it again. Also, she didn't win this year, but you know they're all going to get nominated again next year. So
I wonder if they will. Seriously.
I think like a decent amount of them will, probably.
I think if anyone, like, definitely Cynthia would, because I'm just thinking of the musical and, like, where their storylines are going, and I'm sure.
I forgot to mention this in my worst dress. I think Cynthia Erivo was dressed beautifully, and I know that, like, nails are, like, a whole culture, but at what point have we gone too far? Like, and I just think about, like, she had, like, this thing where it was, like, jewels that were hanging off of her nails, and I'm just like, what are you doing with that? Like,
it stresses me out when I think about, like, her, like,
texting,
putting clothes on,
wiping her ass.
Yeah,
Because it's like, the thing is, people are like, well, they're rich. They have people who do things for them. I'm like, not everything.
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm like, how are you putting your contact in your eye? How are you, once again, going to the bathroom? How are you?
Oh my gosh.
And also, like, those things, they probably get, like, so dirty. And I know, again, friend of the pod, Emily, she has, not nails like Cynthia Erivo, but she, like, has always had her nails done. And she's like, oh, I have, like, a kit and I clean underneath them. I'm like, just have, like, no, and I'm not saying this to Emily, I'm saying this, like, when it's, like, crazy long.
Yeah.
I find it to be a bit, like, distracting. Like, I have never seen that, and I'm like, wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's just kind of insane to me.
Her outfits didn't super. It's almost like their outfits. This is what I was thinking about with Ariana Grande's like red carpet outfit, where it was like it definitely like stood out, but not necessarily like in a great way. Like I wasn't like wow. Like I was just kind of like that's a big dress.
Here's a hot take. I would have been fine if they hadn't like leaned into the Wicked thing. Like if they just wore like it didn't have to be pink and green. Like
I'm like,
whatever.
we get it.
Yeah,
you know?
like you've done it. Like this is just the Oscars.
I loved the ruby dress though.
That
so
was
much.
but that was for the performance. Where it was like Wizard of Oz stuff. Which also, like, the whole time, I don't know why, but I couldn't stop thinking of Judy Garland and how unfortunate her life was. I don't mean that to be, like, like, they're, like, singing and it was beautiful. I was like, wow, look at her dress. And I'm like, Judy Garland, I think she smoked something like 6 packs of cigarettes a day and could only eat chicken noodle soup. And now, like, Ariana Grande is wearing those red ruby dress and just, like,
did you ever see...
R.I.P. Judy.
I'm sure you did because it was Renee Zellweger. But did you ever see Judy, the movie?
No, I actually didn't. I wanted to see it.
So she won, I remember the year that it came, like, that year, she won the Oscar for Best Actress for it. And I just remember being so, because again, you know me with biopics, I'm really not, like, I don't like them. And I remember watching it. It wasn't that great of a movie. Her performance was fine. And I just, like, I was reminded the other day because somebody mentioned, like, how it was just, like, weird that she won that year. And it was like... Yeah, I think she won because she was Renee Zellweger, you know? But it wasn't, like, an outstanding performance.
See, and I think the opposite. I think she won because it's Judy Garland.
Well, both. But because biopics, like, often just, like, win. And sometimes you're just like, okay, like, it was fine.
This is, okay, and I don't mean this offensively. I'm kind of excited for when... if I hopefully am still alive when Leonardo DiCaprio dies, because I am excited for the biopic of his life. I'm genuinely very curious.
I'm less excited about the biopic and more just excited about, or not even excited, I actually am sad, but I'm going to hear about all of the horrible things he possibly did.
Apparently, like, I don't know, I was hearing some stuff recently that I, like, didn't know about. I'm gonna look into, like, some stuff, but anyways, and I really like Leonardo DiCaprio.
I do too. As an actor,
like, if he listens to this little podcast, if he's our 41st listener, I want to clarify, I don't want you to die anytime soon. I love you, Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm just saying, like, I think your life is interesting.
His life is interesting. I think there's something a little off about him sometimes. I think the dating really young, I'm like, we got to get past that. Dude. Yeah. You're like, you really are almost 50.
He's over 50, I think.
I think he's 49.
He's 50.
Well, I just know he was 49 at one point because, he kind of just turned 50. But I remember his 49th birthday. He had, like, this huge birthday party. And it was weird. Well, it was weird because it was like, this is your 49th birthday and you're having, like, this blowout.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about Leonardo DiCaprio.
But, should we get into our own Oscars categories?
Yes, we introduced, for the first time ever, the Poppies.
Woo! And in case you don't know, it's like we're voting on the Oscars, but we made up our own categories. And as always, if you want to vote next year, or if you just want to see anything we're posting or doing, follow us at Poppin Podcast on Instagram.
Yeah, we'll definitely post things, like, in between now and...
Yeah, you won't hear from us. We're like cicadas.
The Oscars are the only thing. We go into hiding. So yeah, this year's Poppies were some fun and interesting categories.
Yeah.
Our first category was Best Serious Long Stare, and the nominees were Timothée Chalamet for Dune, Timothée Chalamet for A Complete Unknown, and Paul Mescal, Gladiator 2.
Also, I was telling you when I was, like, writing down some people for these categories, I was like, I hope Molly doesn't think that I wanted to do this just to vote for Timothée Chalamet in all these categories.
It certainly seemed like it.
I just thought he fit. I just thought it fit.
And the winner was Timothée Chalamet for Dune.
Woo! Which makes sense. Like, you just picture him staring out at those worms. It's just like, it makes it, you know? Oh, yeah.
Our next category was Best Jawline.
Okay.
And we had Harris Dickinson for Baby Girl. Good one.
Yeah.
Maybe I came up with that. I don't know. Timothée Chalamet for Dune, obviously. Mm-hmm. And Zendaya for Challengers.
Which also, as we were watching, I was like, we should have put Zoe Saldana and Ariana Grande.
No, you definitely said Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
My gosh. Okay. And the winner is Zendaya for Challengers.
Woo.
Woo. I'm going to go through these kind of fast, actually.
Okay.
This one was funny. Our next category was Best Homoerotic Undertones. And I hope this made sense to everyone. And this was a tight race.
If it didn't make sense, then I don't know what to tell you.
No, because so the categories were Conclave, Wicked, and Nosferatu. And the winner was, this surprised me a little bit, it was Nosferatu.
I thought it was going to be Conclave.
I thought it was going to be Conclave for sure.
I was telling Chris about this, and he was like, well, why would it be Conclave? And I was like, I don't know.
Because it was gay.
It was like the Catholic Church. I was like, I don't know. Not to offend anyone, but.
It wasn't that. It was more just like, there were so many things about like just how, it just was like a gay movie.
Yeah. It was just a bunch of men loving each other a little bit. Not in like that way, but also maybe.
So our next category was Best Descent into Madness.
Okay.
So we have Demi Moore in The Substance.
Okay.
Sebastian Stan in A Different Man, which we did get one vote for. I'm just here to tell you, if you've seen that movie, if you haven't seen it, you should see it because it's crazy. Cynthia Erivo in Wicked, and Lily Rose Depp in Nosferatu.
And Alexa Doran in her seasonal depressive disorder.
Aw.
Just kidding. We're back.
Well, that wasn't the winner. We are so back actually this weekend because the sun is coming. I said the sun is coming back. That doesn't make sense.
Here comes the sun.
Daylight savings. Anyway, the winner was, who do you think the winner was?
What's this? Descent into Madness. I think it was Demi Moore.
No. She actually got so
I think
votes.
I voted for Lily Rose Depp, though.
Yeah, that was the winner by far. Got
that makes
67%.
Sense. That tongue acting, again, should have been nominated for something.
Yep.
Maybe that's why she felt uncomfortable on the Oscar stage.
Because she was like, you guys have all seen me, like, climaxing, basically.
She's like, you guys have seen me fuck a vampire?
I mean, literally, she had some crazy scenes in that movie. Overhyped movie of the year. We had Twisters.
I saw you put that on there.
And I got some... Actually, never mind. But somebody did, shout out Ty, was like, yeah, that movie sucked. And I was like, thank you. I thought so.
Which, Ty, if you're listening, we do plan to watch Tammy and the T-Rex for next week.
Yes. Please don't take it personally. It's not personal.
Yeah.
Anyway, the nominees were Twisters, Wicked, Night Bitch, which made me laugh because I was like, I don't think it was overhyped at all. I don't think anyone talked about it.
Really? That's all I heard when it came out.
Really?
Yeah.
I swear I didn't know other than you one person who saw it.
That's crazy. Interesting.
But I respect your contribution.
Thank you.
And then Longlegs. And what do you think won?
Longlegs.
It did.
Also, you should...
Twisters was close behind, though.
You should stop asking me what I think won because I went and checked to see where you posted the winners.
Well, it's really rude.
Which I remember that one. Sorry.
Okay. And then for worst accent, we only had two, but we had... We had Nicole Kidman for Baby Girl. And Nicholas Hoult for Juror Number 2, which if you haven't seen, I mean,
which are both like people
it didn't
doing
have very many
American accents.
Yeah, nobody really voted. We only had one vote for that, I think.
Oh,
but
really?
90% said Nicole Kidman. But here's the thing: it made me laugh because shout out Emily was like, that was her actual voice though, and I was like, no, she's Australian.
Yeah,
I don't think a lot of people know that actually.
Interesting. I feel like I can clock it immediately. Like, she just has these inflections where I'm just like, okay,
she doesn't
Aussie.
Ever do her Australian accent. That's why. Like, I would guess she's, like, British, but she... so, in most things, we've talked about this, like, 100 times before, because we seem to always review Nicole Kidman. Because she's the hardest working person ever.
She's holding Hollywood on her back.
Willem Dafoe is actually holding Hollywood on his back. But anyway... she always has like this weird Australian / British / American inflection in everything she does.
And I think it sounds British because she's Australian trying to do American, which then gives her British inflections.
Yeah. And then last but not least, we had Craziest Movie Drama, which the nominees were It Ends With Us, Amelia Perez, and Megalopolis, which might seem random. We only got one vote for Megalopolis, but if you remember, we kind of talked about it briefly on the podcast, but there was just a lot going on with
you're a real fan, if you remember when they posted those AI fake reviews of that movie.
It wasn't so much movie set drama. It was more just like well, there may have been movie set drama, but just Francis Ford Coppola's he was just a weirdo about everything. But anyway, the winner was It Ends With Us, obviously.
I thought
that was a good category because Amelia Perez also had a lot.
Yeah. And also I was going to say, you know, for you all, like, if you're listening to us next year and you have categories that you want included in the Poppies, or maybe we'll do this for the Emmys as well, we love feedback. Let us know what you thought of this, if you enjoyed it, if you hated it, if you want to see other categories. We love end-of-year reviews.
Yeah. We do. Sorry, I was reading something. Absolutely.
Yeah. Also, speaking of which, our question of the week this week was, what category would you add to the Oscars? Nobody answered. That's right.
We did get one answer.
Oh, yes. We got one answer from, again, friend of the pod, Emily.
Should we do hers or ours? To be fair, I did...
Yours, mine, and ours?
To be fair, we did post that one, like, today. But that's because I was just, like, heavy with the Oscar stuff yesterday, so...
Yeah.
We didn't really have...
a lot of
chance to think about it. But anyway, so yes, what category would you add to the Oscars? What would you say?
I would say like best like marketing campaign.
But see, that would take away, I mean, that's a good one.
Yeah, they would never do that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, some of these people are working hard. Like, the Barbie campaign should have won an Oscar for that marketing campaign.
Well, yeah, there's a difference between a marketing campaign. I guess I was thinking Oscars campaigning, which is, like, should be illegal, but...
Yeah. No, I mean, like
marketing,
you just think about, like, all the press interviews they go through, all the crazy questions they have to answer, all the outfits, there should be, like, an overall, like... Yeah, the lead up to this movie.
Working, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, because Cillian Murphy won Best Actor last year, obviously, for Oppenheimer, I thought it was funny that because I remember as soon as he won, you know how he always wants to go home.
Yeah.
Like, everything, he's just like, it's just like, let the man go home.
Yeah.
But as soon as he won last year, because he went out of his way to have to be an extrovert last year. He was extroverted out. But as soon as he won, everybody was like, does he know that he's gonna have to come back next year to present? Like, they were like, wait till Cillian Murphy finds out he has to come back next year to present. And he came back to present Best Actor and had to stand on stage for 20 minutes while Adrien Brody rambled on.
This is random, but what do you think makes Cillian Murphy, like, laugh? Like, what do you think is, like I feel like I've only seen him be like, huh. You know what I mean? Like, belly laugh.
I've never seen him, like, laugh really hard.
Yeah.
Ooh. Do you think he does? I bet he doesn't.
I hope he does. I imagine living a life where you don't get a good belly laugh, you know?
But he's, like, too cool to laugh. He's just like...
I don't ever want to be too cool to laugh.
No,
not that I'm, like, risking that ever. But, like...
I don't want to ever be too cool to laugh either. I'm just saying, I don't see him as, like, really letting it out, you know?
And see, that's one of the things is, like, I like Cillian Murphy. I just couldn't be friends with him. I need people who are, like... I need a sense of humor.
I'd be nervous all the time that he was, like, judging me.
Yeah.
But I've heard him in, like, if you ever heard him on, like, a podcast, which is where people tend to open up more, he's actually, like, he's a little bit more chatty than normal. Like, he can talk, but I think he's just...
Yeah, I'm just curious, like, and I'm wondering, like...
Maybe when he's drunk. I bet when he's drunk, he laughs really hard.
Well, also, I loved his Irish accent when it came out. It was good. But,
there was some word he said that we were like...
There was 2 words he said that I was like, oh. But I bet, like, you know, you think it'd be something highbrow, but I bet it's just, he's just watching, like, the Three Stooges and just, like, dying laughing.
He's watching, like...
The Hangover.
Blooper reels.
Yeah.
He's watching The Office bloopers.
He's watching America's Funniest Home Videos. And just, like... having the time of his life. And I hope that for him. Everyone deserves a good belly laugh at least, like, once a month.
Yes, I agree. So my category that I would add, and I'm actually wondering now that I'm thinking about it if it already is a category, but I would add Best Stunt Performers.
Oh, yeah. I think it should be honored.
And it might be. I have to actually check on that. But it's definitely not televised. And I think if it were televised, I mean, think about what those people do.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
It is crazy.
It might be like one of those... Oh, there's not an Oscar category. I do, however, know that there is an Emmy category for stunt performances. And the reason I know that is because I'm Matthew and I are huge fans, as are you, of Righteous Gemstones.
Oh, yeah.
And it always says on Max, like, when it shows it, it always says, like, Emmy winner. And I'm like, what is it won? Because I've always noticed, like, it's very ignored at, like, the Emmys, which I think Righteous Gemstones should be winning, like, best comedy every year. It's genuinely, like, instead of such a top-tier show.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into it.
Yeah, well, hey, Oscars are over. We're in Emmy season now.
Yeah, when are the
Severance
Emmys?
But you know what's crazy? Severance going to be like competing with White Lotus.
Ooh,
crazy.
That'll be good.
Okay, so anyway,
I need to get on my Emmys game. Like, I need to start watching the shows now because it's not like the Oscars. I was thinking about it. I was like,
been watching them.
Like some of them. I want to like last year. I was like, I've watched like almost all of these shows, and I don't know how I did that. But like the Oscars, it's easy to prep for because it's like movies. So I'm like, I watch a movie once a week. A show, it's like, okay, I guess I have to watch 3 seasons of this show. Well, like I was gonna watch Reservation Dogs, and then I was like, we're too far gone.
Well, I'm thinking about it. What would it be? Like, okay, we've got Severance. I think Severance will sweep at the Emmys, but that's a conversation for another time. White Lotus, Yellow Jackets, probably. But I'm thinking, what else would it be? Oh well.
I think there's this is a discussion for another time.
Really quick, I was just gonna say, I know the Emmys has stunt performers though, a stunt performance category, because I looked it up and I was like, what has Righteous Gemstones won? It won for best like stunt performers. Stunt performances or something like that.
What are the stunts? I guess there's like,
well, when you think about it, Gideon is a stunt performer.
Yeah, so that's right. Do you think you would do your own
scenes.
stunts?
No.
Okay.
I would run. Apparently even running is hard.
What?
Like running in scenes, like you have to train to run. That's why like Tom Cruise's run is like insane.
Probably because I think about this like with music performance too. Like you're doing a lot of physical exercise, and then it's like you have to like speak, and like it's like I think about myself when I'm doing physical exercise, and it's like my soul has left my body, you know, like much less me trying to pretend to be Elphaba. Like I couldn't, you know what I mean? Like I just couldn't.
See, that could have been some stunts in there as Wicked.
Yeah, with Ariana swinging on that chandelier. What do you think?
Swinging on a chandelier?
She was. There's one where it's like she is. It's like a whole thing.
Dancing Through Life.
Yeah. No, is it Dancing Through Life?
Dancing Through.
No, I think it's Popular.
Oh, you're right. Duh. Sorry.
Where she's like on the chandelier and she goes in a circle, and like Cynthia Erivo was like, her foot just like went right past my face.
Jonathan Bailey did like his own choreography.
Him. I wish I could see his Oscars outfit.
I didn't see him last night. I don't think he was there.
I want Greta Gerwig to win for something. I know she
didn't do
anything
really
this year, but
she's gonna do Chronicles of Narnia. That might be her next one.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Have you heard a little bit about it? It's just like so wild. God. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, well, I think that's like all we have for our Oscars recap.
I know. And we announced the winner. We could announce it again, I guess.
We don't need to. If in case
you got second place.
Second place is first loser.
Second is the first to lose.
And
according to Abby Lee Miller.
I respect your win, but I am like upset because I like spent a lot of time doing a lot of research and watching all those movies.
Can I say something to you though?
Yeah.
The thing is, I did a lot of research too. I put a lot of work in. I just maybe saw 2 less movies than you.
I know. I was just like,
this is what I prepare for. This is my life. I was going to say, you did a lot better this year than you did last year.
Last year I was coming into it fresh. Like I didn't really like watch the Oscars a lot. I was just like, I really love Barbie. It was our first time doing the podcast. Last year I was an embarrassment to myself.
No, you were not.
This year I feel like I was a hot contender.
You beat Chris this year.
Yeah, well, I knew I was going to do that. I'll be honest.
Oh.
I don't beat Chris in a lot of things. But when it comes to like film and television,
well, he was my biggest competitor last year, though.
Again, last year I was going off of what I like.
Last year's, oh my gosh, the chair almost broke under me. Last year's batch was so good.
It was.
Oh well.
Again, go listen to our first episode ever.
Yeah, you can go back and listen.
I'm actually curious to listen to that.
I've listened to it actually several times. Like My Eyes See Oppenheimer, which will never get anything as funny as My Eyes See Oppenheimer.
That's crazy.
That was the funniest thing.
Also, cheers to you and me, the true winners.
This is when we spill the wine all over the laptop.
Also, you can't hear it because these are plastic cups because I smash wine cups into my hand.
Yeah, but these are the cute ones I got you for your birthday.
Yeah.
They popping in with Alexa and Molly.
They do.
Yay.
Yay. Cheers to us.
Cheers to cinema.
Cheers to cinema. Cheers to TV. Cheers to culture. And cheers to pop. And we hope to hear you guys, see you guys. We hope to have you around for another year.
Have you been recording?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Oh my God. Yes. I was trying to have a moment.
I'm sorry, I got nervous.
Oh my God. Anyways, I guess we'll see you next time. As always, like and subscribe, rate and review. And we'll see you next time. Bye.